There are 11 F5s in War Thunder, and out of all of them, this, the NF-5A, is by far the most controversial. Not only is it incredibly good, but at $70 it's also the most expensive. As a result, many people have claimed that this jet is pay to win. But is it really? And more importantly, should you buy one? The NF-5A is a rank 7 premium jet that sits at a battle rating of 10.7 in the French tech tree. And compared to many other aircraft around that battle rating, the NF-5A isn't packing anything crazy in the missile department. While it may seem like you're given a choice between two types of Sidewinder, that's really nothing but an illusion, as the AIM-9J and the AIM-9N are identical, except they swapped out the letter J for the letter N. At 10.7, these IR-guided missiles are fine. Rear aspect is all that you need, 20 Gs of overload is usually plenty, they have decent range, and the Seeker head has a massive gimbal limit, meaning that you can lead the launch of these missiles very aggressively, allowing you to attack from angles that would be otherwise impossible. However, because these are just standard Sidewinders without any IRCCM, any enemy with countermeasures can easily nullify these missiles by just simply pressing their flare button. And given that most aircraft around this battle rating get countermeasures, you really have to get good at sniffing out enemies who are asleep at the wheel in order to score hits. So while these missiles are perfectly adequate, they're also quite situational. And when you factor in the NF-5A's entire missile kit consists of only 2 of these Sidewinders, it becomes clear that if you want to do well in this jet, you'll have to rely a lot on your guns. Fortunately, the 2 20mm cannons found directly in the nose of the NF are excellent. They deal very respectable damage, are incredibly easy to aim, and you're given enough ammunition for 8 seconds of trigger time, which means that you can miss quite a few of your shots and still be left with enough rounds to kill basically half the enemy team. But of course, any set of cannons is useless if you can't get them on target, which is why you also need good flight performance. If you've ever gone up against any of the F5As, you'll know they are formidable fighters. Outstanding agility, excellent turn performance, and great energy retention have long made these some of the most capable fighters at 10.7. The NF-5A is no different. Except, well, it is different, as it's not just any F5, but a renamed CF5, a Canadian variant with substantially more powerful engines, resulting in quicker acceleration, a higher top speed, and most importantly, improved turn rate where it matters. But there is a catch. Besides the bump in power, the NF-5A also receives a small bump in weight, which means that compared to other F5As, this jet actually has a slightly worse wing loading. Thus, at very slow speeds and during extremely aggressive elevator inputs, the NF-5A actually performs worse. However, if you're just yanking back on the stick or getting below 550 km per hour in any F5A, you're already doing it wrong, as there's plenty of aircraft around 10.7 like the J7D, that have better sustained low-speed turn performance. Meanwhile, if you play the NF-5A correctly and stay above those 550 km per hour, you'll find that this jet's flight performance is effectively a straight upgrade over the standard F5As. Though, that's not to say this jet is perfect. In fact, the NF's defensive aid suite is rather lacking. Compared to many other F5s, the NF gets fewer countermeasures, 30 standard, 15 large. Still, I've rarely found myself having to worry about running out of flares or chaff. The problematic part is the radar warning receiver. At 10.7, you'll have ample opportunity to face off against jets with some seriously scary radar missiles. Some of those jets use a J-band radar, which the NF's AN APR-25 can't detect, resulting in the occasional R-24R jump scare. While deaths like these are incredibly frustrating, they're also incredibly rare. Not to mention that if you die this way, you probably would have died to any normal IR missile as well, in which case even the best RWR in the world wouldn't have saved you. In other words, the NF-5A's only real shortcoming is basically irrelevant. With that said, I quickly want to recap everything I've talked about in this review so far. The NF-5A has a decent set of Sidewinders, 2 great cannons, amazing flight performance, turbulence and plenty of flares and chaff. Meanwhile, the only real con of this aircraft is its RWR, which is such a small issue you might as well scrub it off this list. All of this together makes the NF-5A an incredibly competitive fighter, so much so that this jet isn't just good at 10.7, it's downright ridiculous. And with that in mind, I'd like to circle back to the central questions of this video. First, is the NF-5A pay to win? Yes. And that leaves us with the second question, should you buy the NF-5A? Well, yeah, no, maybe? When you look on the Gaijin store, you'll see that there's currently two F5 premiums on sale. Out of these two, the NF is objectively the superior fighter. However, the F5C is still incredibly competitive at 10.7, while simultaneously being $5 cheaper and sitting in a tech tree which is more expansive and diverse. Thus, I'd argue that the F5C offers a better value. That said, if you've already reached US top tier, bought a US premium, don't care about which nation you're researching, or simply want to grind through the French tech tree, then by all means buy the NF-5A, as it's a great grinder that's very fun to play and incredibly competitive, which makes this, in my opinion, one of the best premiums that you can currently purchase. Oh, and just in case you were wondering if you should buy this or the Premium Mirage, well, there you go. Regardless of whether or not you end up purchasing the NF-5A or something else in the Gaijin store, remember that if you use my link, the first one in the description, you'll get yourself a small discount and you'll also help support my channel at no extra cost to you. With that said, thank you very much for watching, remember to subscribe, join my Discord server, and if you enjoyed this video, then consider also watching the one that's currently shown to you on screen. It's a little bit different but kind of the same, so I think you'll enjoy that video as well.